In this video, we're going to go over a program that we work together on that sets you guys up to be qualified to purchase. Now, this program we call the Pathway to Qualification, and it's targeted mostly at people that are currently renting, but it can be tweaked for people that already own a home but want to change, whether it's a location change or a move up or anything in between that. So there's a few steps to it, and we're just going to quickly go over those couple steps so you guys can know what to expect when you enter this program with us. The first step is an initial meeting. So we'll set that up. Either Brandon will set it up if you contact him first, or we can set it up with him, and basically you and both of us will get together and we'll start breaking out all of the criteria that is unique to you in that meeting. So what are some of the things, Brandon, on the mortgage side as we prepare these people to get ready to qualify? What are some of the things you like to go over in that initial meeting?
Yeah, so in the initial meeting, like Jake said, we like to get together as a team, kind of go over some ideas. But we will get a mortgage application or a loan application that'll have your basic information on there, such as your employment history, residency history, income, things like that. We will also then pull a credit report to determine where your credit score is at and what kind of liabilities you have, and then we compare that with your income. So we look at income, your liabilities, and then that helps us determine what amount and loan program is going to fit best and work best for you to put you in the best position and what you would qualify for.
And then if people aren't quite ready for that step of the qualification, if say they have 6 months left on their lease or 9 months even, or anything in between that, how would we adjust that approach as far as getting them on? What things would we check to start creating their plan to be prepared to transition in 9 months from being a renter to an owner?
Yeah, it's a great question. So there are a lot of people who are renting who aren't quite ready, who will be in the next 6 to 12 months. And we would just go over basically what you need to have to put yourself in the best position possible, such as down payment, savings, what loan programs are out there, things like that you can prepare for, where your credit score needs to be so you can work on credit if it's not quite where it should be at to help you get the better qualifying rates, and just kind of go over loan programs, options, so you kind of have an idea of what first-time buyer programs are out there if you're renting and haven't owned a home, what grants are available to you if you qualify for those, what you would need to be able to do to qualify for those, and just kind of give you a good overview of what's out there and available and what you can work on the next 6 to 12 months to help you prepare to put yourself in the best position possible when you do go to do that mortgage application and we do a credit app and things like that.
So that's kind of the financing side of it. And then our side of it is looking at your needs or your wants. So depending on your family size and all those types of things that go into it, location, where your job is at, what's the market looking like in those areas, how much, do you need a 3-bedroom, a 4-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, what is it, what's the cost of those homes, and we combine that with the financing side and what you qualify for to what do you need to be comfortable or to transition out of your current location. So if that's a 3-bedroom home and it costs X amount at this point in time and it's predicted to cost this much in 9 months, then we have a target to start combining the financials and the physical property together to create that plan for you. And that's really step 2. Once we get all this information from you and we can discuss it and kind of get clear on your goals and where your finances currently are and where they need to be, then we can put a personal plan for you to start following. And Brandon helps us on the financial side. What are some things you do to help coach people through their credit or where they need to get their down payment to, or some of those things?
Yeah, so kind of like we mentioned, is looking over different loan programs and grants on what you would qualify for based on your current income. Maybe you're going to get a raise in the next 6 months, and maybe that'll help as far as what you would qualify for. But yeah, basically just go over where your debt to income needs to be to qualify for a certain amount if you need that 3-bedroom house or there's something specific you need. Kind of go over to make sure we can put you in a position to qualify for something that's going to meet your needs. And then really just going over, if there's any derogatory history on your credit, how that's going to come into play, if that would keep you from purchasing a home, or if there's a certain wait period you'd have to wait to, that has to lapse before you can qualify for something. So really just gathering information, putting together, like Jake said, that personal plan specific to you to help you understand exactly the time frame that's going to work for you to qualify for something that's going to meet your needs is really what we focus on, and that's our goal.
Yeah, and so the financial side is really the side that usually takes the time period, because if you're financially ready, we can walk you to a house 10 minutes later if that was the deal. But getting the finances in order, and especially today with high prices, high interest rates, most people need to start planning and put a plan in place and then work a plan. And that really leads us to step 3, is working the plan that we all come up with together, including you, including us, including Brandon as the lender, and seeing it out so that in 6 months, in 9 months time, you're in a position that you can qualify for the property you're desiring, or making adjustments to that plan as we go to change kind of the outlook of the situation based on market changes or personal changes within your own life and stuff like that. So one thing we like to do while we're working the plan is set up scheduled intervals that we're checking in with you, whether some people want us to touch base weekly, some people want us to touch base once a month. We check in with you, we check in on how well the plan is going, if saving is part of the plan for a down payment. Are you on track with your savings? Is credit repair part of it? Are you on track with that? Are you paying off certain debts that you need to pay off, or doing the credit repair you need to do? What other pieces do you like to check in on during the working of the plan part?
Yeah, working the plan, in this initial discussion, really a lot of things we focus on, or one of the biggest questions we get is on credit. Mm-hmm. Like, is my credit good enough? Maybe there's been a few things in the past, or maybe you don't have a lot of credit history. And so we can kind of give you some advice on maybe what you can do in the short term to help build a credit score, rather than trying to do it all at once in a 1 month or 2 month time frame.
Yeah.
Or we can kind of coach you through some things that you can do to help build your credit score back up. We have a lot of tools available to us that can give you some great ideas on how you can boost your credit score up, which could put you into a whole different qualifying bracket for a different kind of loan, could help you qualify for a certain type of grant. Just a lot of things that we can give you in that preparation period, so when you are ready, that we're there and ready to go.
And that really brings us to the 4th step in this process, which is getting a mortgage application in so we can get a pre-approval and get you actually looking at homes and transitioning, and hopefully lining that up with when your lease is ending, and so you can transition from being a renter to being an owner. One thing I like to point out on this part is we may say it's a 6-month plan because that's when your lease ends, but in 4 months or 5 months, when we would like to start pushing this process forward, you're just not quite there yet. We can extend the plan, we can make adjustments to it. Maybe you can go on to a month-to-month lease for a time period as we're continuing to get you in a better position to own. It's not a one and done type of thing. And so if you know you're getting ready to look into home ownership, or even make a move like we said, and you currently have a house but you need more space or you need a different location, with today's market, most people just can't wake up and enter the market. They have to have these plans in place. And so whether that's a 3-month plan, 6 months, 9 months, a year, longer, this is why we offer a program like this. And once we get to that pre-approval part, it allows Brandon and ourselves to really take you on the rest of that journey. And so as far as getting ready to the mortgage application part, what are some things you see people run into at the end, right before they're ready to put the mortgage in, that may have to extend it, or those types of situations?
Yeah, so like Jake said, and like we talked about at first, we like to, in that initial meeting, kind of gather some information from you, so we are prepared for, to try to avoid anything that comes up right before that. So say we've been going for 6 months, but there was a bankruptcy on credit, and there's a minimum wait period of a couple of years, and we're working towards all this stuff, but we didn't know that, and then we find out last minute. That's why we kind of go through this process the way we do, so we can try to avoid any last minute things like, okay, now we're ready, we're gonna go look at homes. Well, then we pull credit, and then all of a sudden there's a big surprise.
Yeah.
And so, we really try to gather as much information as we can before doing that, just to avoid any last minute surprises when we go do the mortgage application.
Yeah. So the goal is after that plan's been worked, that you're ready to go. That requires everybody to be honest up front with where things are at, and everybody to commit to the plan that's in place and work from there. But the point of it is that it's taking time now, and we want you to know that we're here for you throughout that time, and we're not just going to sit around and wait for the day that you're ready. We're going to help you along that path ourselves, Brandon. There's other people that are happy to help along that path, and once you get to this point and you get that pre-approval, we transition you into what we call the purchasing pathway and get you on that path to actually completing that purchase. And so if you want to know more about that part of it, we have another video out for that, and just look through it and it will explain the next transition to the next plan. Everything is very set and structured so that you know what you're doing at all times and know what to expect throughout the process. So we couldn't do a plan like this without great partners like Brandon. And so because financially, he's the one that's qualified to give you the advice and get you qualified and work with your credit and whatnot, whereas that's not something we can do for you. And so without great partners, we can't do these amazing plans and work them with you. So you have any last words for him?
Yeah, no, just if you have any questions or feel like you can't qualify, or it's going to take you 2 or 3 years to qualify, I would say get with us. We'd love to meet with you and just answer, like I said, basic questions and help you kind of put together a plan to work towards homeownership. And it's a lot of times we find that it can happen a lot sooner than what a lot of people think, just because of some things that may have been in their path, getting up to this point.
Exactly.
And so, just reach out to us, let us help you, let us put together a plan with you and talk to you, and you might be surprised at what you can do and what you can afford.
Yeah.
So
we do have those cases all the time where people reach out and they're like, I don't think I'm going to be ready for a year or so, but I want to start preparing. And then once we get into it with them and get all the details and start pulling stuff, information, putting a plan together, we can do it quicker. Maybe it's 3 months, maybe it's 6 months, but it's quicker than what they had originally thought in their head.
Right.
And then on the reverse side, sometimes it can be longer, but that's good information for you to know. So you're not planning on that, oh, I'm going to buy in 6 months, where in reality it may take a year or 18 months due to certain circumstances within your situation. So the more information we can get you, the more we can help you plan and set up, then the more likely it is on the back end to go smoothly and to get that timeline lined up for you as best as possible. So
yeah, I think that's well said.
All right, well, be sure to reach out to us. Let's get you on the pathway to qualification. Let's get a plan in place for you, and let's start getting you on that path to home ownership. So thanks for being with us today, and we'll see you next time.
Talk to you soon.